Live streaming is on.
Okay, I guess we're on. Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I will be your host this evening. And here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes. We talk about sport flying, competition flying. We like it when you do show and tells. We also have interest in what you do in your shop or what you did at the flying field lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member of Stunthangar, please register at stunthangar.com. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you are inclined to not come in and just want to enjoy watching us on YouTube, please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I will do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Now, understand that sometimes I can't even get a word in myself, so we might have gone past this and gone to another subject, but I will still make sure your questions and comments are heard. Now, if you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please like, subscribe, and share the videos. That helps the channel grow. And please consider joining our YouTube channel membership starting at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. Your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. With your memberships, you get special badges in the YouTube chat and unlimited replay of member-only videos. Matter of fact, there's some videos up with Al Rabe and some other videos that are for members only. And then once a month, Sparky has question and answer show for members only, and you can ask Sparky questions, and he has over 50 years experience, of building. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make your donations. Thank you for your past, your present, and future support. And please keep your conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn here and go and post the link at Stunthangar. It's being posted as we speak. And then hopefully I will have some new guests that'll be wonderful and some friends show up, and hope we have a great show. We had a really good show last time. I really liked the demonstration that John Miller showed of his model airplane, and there was some other conversation. Tom Rammel showed how he's progressed on his flight streak, and so we'll see what happens tonight. Let me pull up the chat box so I can see who's out there and what's going on out there in YouTube land there. Let's see here. Hi, Greg Nielsen. Good evening. Good evening to you. Thank you for coming in. Greg, why don't you come in sometime into the forum? I don't know if you're a member of Stunthangar or not, but it's pretty easy to join. And I know, I think I've seen you in the chat box on Saturday programs with Sparky. Is that right? Can you guys hear me? I don't hear myself for some reason. You know what? Oh, let me check something. Tell me if you can hear me. I don't know if I'm muted or not, but I don't hear my voice. Jack or Greg, can you guys hear me?
It is on.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Charles.
So I guess you can hear me, I guess, huh?
Just fine.
Oh, good. That's good news. So how you doing?
Pretty good. It's getting a little bit cool here. You know, it was like 35 degrees and overcast, but I was still flying today.
Oh, good for you. And hi, Mark.
Hey, guys.
You went out flying in 30 degrees?
Yeah, 35, I think,
Oh,
twice.
that's really impressive. That's really manly of you. Let me say hi. Let me say hi to guys in the chat. Hey, Tom, what you doing over there? Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. And yes, thank you, Jack. Thanks. I need the feedback that you guys hear me great. For some reason, I couldn't hear me earlier, but thanks. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Bill.
Well, I was going to say, and this is no surprise to anybody, but I try to get out flying quite often, and it just keep practicing, and it just gets easier. You get more comfortable. It's just a matter of putting that practice in.
Yeah, there's no replacement for handle time, and when you see someone who's makes it look really easy, it's sometimes it's hard to understand that it's because of all the handle time, and the person might have an easier flying plane too. I mean that can always be a possibility. I always say that this hobby or sport is backwards, because when you first start flying, you're having to almost white knuckle everything because you don't realize the plane is out of trim. And then as you get better and you've trimmed better, the plane is easier to fly, and it's like it should be the other way around. I think. Hey, Tom, you made it in. Great.
I'm here. What?
Yeah. So, you're still flying by yourself, right, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have no. Yeah. But you know what? As you keep flying different planes, that'll give you a clue, because what happens is every plane flies a little different. In my experience, I would fly a plane and I would think it flies really good. Then I get a new plane, and then the new plane does something that the other plane never did, and it's like, wow, that is. I remember one time I had a Nobler ARF that was given to me, and it was the first plane that coming out of a hard corner, it would just be so flat. I mean, there was no bounce at the end of the corner or anything. And I was like, wow, I never experienced that before. And it gave me a lot of confidence. Even doing reverse wing over, I knew that when I came out of the corner, the plane would just be flat. It wouldn't bounce or anything. So I looked for that trait in all my other airplanes. And then flying Sparky's airplane, that was one of the lightest planes of that size I think I've ever flown. And now I'm like, wow, it's so by building more and more planes, that's what I would really encourage you to do, Bill, is get a lot of planes, because they will all fly a little different and have different nuances that you're going to appreciate, or you made a spot right on. Hey, this is not flying very well, and I need to fix it, or it hardly wants to loop, and you realize, oh, that's what a nose heavy plane flies like, and then you'll have a plane that is just too sensitive, and you go, oh, that's what a tail heavy plane flies like, because sometimes you don't realize what you're dealing with because you don't have any comparison.
Well, I've just been flying that little electric because it's like, I can get the lines out fast and put a flight in. And I think it's hard on planes when it's this cold, and especially if you'd hit the ground. The ground is so hard and that. So I'm saving my better planes to fly in warmer weather.
Oh, yes. I understand that. Hey, Peter, and hi, Gary.
Hi.
Just like a waitress, right, Peter? Right when you have a swig, they ask you, how's your food? And you got your mouth full. I caught Peter with his beverage up to his lips. Yeah.
You have electric out there?
Yeah, on that poster or what?
You're not, well, I know. They're saying about cutting some loose or something. Cutting some off.
Yeah, I have a sleep apnea, and so I have a medical, I think they consider that. They are slower to cut the power on someone who has. They don't know if whatever electricity I'm consuming, they don't know if it's a life or death thing. They can't tell the seriousness of my electrical needs. I always tell my neighbors they should be glad I live near them, because I probably help diminish all their power outages when they plan to do them. So
Okay.
Talk about flying on hard ground. If you go out on the frozen lake, that's really hard ground.
Yeah.
they probably can't get any harder than that.
There was a video on. I don't know, I saw it today or yesterday, I think, of somebody actually flying off a frozen lake, like an electric P-51 or something like that.
Very cool. I remember seeing Wendy had a friend he was teaching how to fly, and he was flying on a frozen lake. I don't remember.
It's probably an old video, but yeah.
Yeah, but I remember seeing that, and the guy was flying on a lake, and Wendy had put spikes on the bottom of his shoes to walk out onto the lake and fly without slipping.
That's dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, most of us are a little nuts, I think.
Yeah, well.
Well, as hard as that ice is, I'm sure hitting concrete or blacktop is harder.
Yeah, I try to avoid doing that. Hey, Lynn, what's up, man?
Hey guys,
Hey,
how's it going?
looking good there.
Can you hear me tonight?
We can see you too.
Yeah. I can hear you and see you, yeah. You got your uniform on? Is that what I think I see?
No, just a regular Stunthangar shirt.
Well, that's what I mean, your uniform.
Oh yeah, I'm in uniform. Yeah, I'm in uniform tonight.
Very good. Hey, Lynn, do you know Eric Rule?
I know the name. I know he was the. Didn't he used to be the? He
Yeah, he was the owner of RSM.
had some business in RSM. That's right. I knew what. I just didn't know the name of the business.
Did you know he was from Canada?
What's up?
No, did you know he was from Canada?
I did. I found that out based on one of the posts on Stunthangar. I was very surprised, actually.
Yeah.
But I've never knowingly met him.
Okay.
I don't know if he was from the West Coast or the East Coast, but I would assume the West Coast. But I don't know because he knew the leader of our club, so I don't know. Maybe he was here, but I never met him.
Yeah, he's a really a wonderful gentleman. He's been very helpful to me over the years. I'd call him
He's
and
been helpful too.
We talked for probably 40 minutes. You know, even though he's running his business, we would talk for a while. And he would
That's
coach
awesome.
me up too because he was a coach. He was a judge at a lot of events I flew at.
Right.
So he would
Okay.
he would coach me up as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Really neat guy.
I'm going to go out and try to come back and I'm going to go out and come back in again on a different browser. It's all choppy, not working too good.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Sounds good.
I had to change browsers too, like for last week also. Now it doesn't help. I'm still in Nigeria, so I'm sure the electrons aren't real good over here. But I had to went to Google Chrome, I guess.
Right.
Versus the Safari that I have on my Mac. Safari, it just wouldn't log in. So it was obviously a browser issue because I went right from Safari back to the Google Chrome or whatever that is, and it worked every time. So I just I'll dedicate that to the chats.
Very good. Have you made any progress on your magician?
Yeah. Actually, I'm just in the final. Got a couple little things and pieces and parts that I can't find. And, the connection for my piano wire going back to the elevator. It's somewhere, or I threw it away. So yeah, that's about the only thing I got left. If I can figure out how to, it's like almost 4 a.m. here, so I'm kind of propped up in bed.
Wow, thank you coming in. That's great.
Oh, I enjoy it, guys. How do you share? I can show some pictures. How do you
Yeah.
share?
So you just go down to the bottom left. Well, I'm working on a PC. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
using.
yeah, same.
But down in the lower left corner, there's a box,
Right.
and that's the chat box. And the box to the right of that is the share your screen. If you want to
Okay.
bring up your application first, have your
I
picture
get
up there first, then click on that, and then you'll have a screen of different ones to pick, and you want to pick the
Okay.
application one.
Right. I get it.
So
That way
while
you don't see me.
screen just myself.
Yeah, don't come up with any of my goofy photos that are in there. That yeah. Okay, let's see.
Let's see if that's any better. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Yes.
you. Fine, great. And it looks like it's a little bit smoother too, Lynn.
Yeah.
Let's see how that works.
Okay, so photo.
Okay, perfect. It was terrible the other night on Friday. I struggled huge.
Yeah, I remember seeing you come in and out, and actually I saw your initials for the longest time. And I don't know if I ever did see you. I don't remember.
Yeah, and nobody could see my picture or nothing, and I could see my picture on the screen, but it wasn't coming up for you guys at all. It was a mess.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time Mike Lonke was on there, and I think other people could see him, but I couldn't see him. So it was kind of one of those weird things. Oh my God.
Yeah, just depends on the neck.
Sorry about that.
That's
So, Tom,
okay.
you made any progress
How's
on
the
your?
Striga coming, Charles?
It's coming along. Actually, I've done that, Mark. I've done that
too.
several times.
It looks kind of cool, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've all done that, right, guys?
I don't know how it got
That's
out.
a lot of wingtip.
Oh,
All right, here, let's try this again somehow.
There you go.
Well, I see one picture. That one picture is good. Oh, that is
Oh.
neat.
very
That looks
nice.
good.
Wow. Very
Very
nice.
good.
You know, that is one of my favorite planes, Mark. I mean, I liked it so much I built two of them when I was a kid. It was it was the first flying plane that was easy to fly. It stayed still. I mean, it stayed put. Did not have any bad habits, and actually learned to fly inverted with that plane and figure eights and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what David was saying. It would be a good one to start with. So that was yeah, that was the one I brought over here to build with me, and I actually built one with him. He did most of it, to be honest with you. And then I did some of the cover, and that's where we done the straight silk. Covered it with just regular silk, you know.
That's
Not
silk.
this one, but the one
with
we
sheen
did.
on it.
Sorry.
Phil?
So there's a nice
Yeah,
sheen on it. That's silk. That's silk,
It looked
huh?
good.
Well, the white one just was ultra coat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm
I've
confused.
got some other pictures of the other one we did in silk, but it's yeah, I'll try to find that and see if I can't share it without whatever that was that happened.
Yeah.
I like
have
your
to be-
take on the canopy. It's very nice.
Yeah,
Nice shape.
it's kind of funny that I was trying to figure out a way to get to planning. I get you guys know, and it's one of these things you learn. Any kind of scheme or it's all about planning. And I figured that I'd probably have 5 or 6 layers of something up there. I didn't have any real paint over here that I could have used to paint the balsa. So I said, I just like that. That reminds me of one of the old ag airplanes I used to fly. That particular canopy, and I think that's what was stuck in my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way-
I thought
Yeah,
that
it
was
looks really
interesting
cool.
about the canopy. I couldn't put my finger on it. It's been a while since I've
Yeah.
seen a magician.
Yeah. Yep. Quite different. Let me see if I can.
Nice to see something that's just a little unique, and it looked really.
Well, yeah. Like I say,
That's
it's
pretty.
Hey, John.
I kind of
Joe.
put the oversized wheels.
How are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing well.
That's
How about
good.
you guys?
Hanging in here, crazy as ever.
Really? Is that anything new?
Yeah. Mm,
Me neither.
I took a
So-
25 SF out of the box the other day, and pulled a carburetor, put a Venturi needle valve in it, got it all cleaned up and ready to take it and fly it. Well, take it and break it in. And the bearings are bad on a brand new motor.
Oh,
Every day.
Oh,
I said, well, I know a sure cure for this.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in a box. I'm going to send it to Tom Dixon, and I'm going to tell him fix it.
Oh, wow.
I'll get it back and it'll be ready to run. So, that's all right.
yeah.
One of those things. Oh, Lynn dropped. There he is back again. Shoo! So how is everybody?
I found the picture of that other one, Charles. I might.
Yeah, go ahead
Put
and
it
show
up.
it.
I'll try. Okay, so
He's the good.
application window. I might get this right this time.
Hey, Phil, I would do the same.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Oh, that's pretty.
wow.
Oh, that is very pretty.
I can't understand, Lynn.
Then
Yeah,
you all
That is
broke
pretty.
up.
That is pretty.
Yeah,
You need
it's
a
like
spinner.
I say, it's
You need a big spinner.
No, it's okay. I'll tell you again in a minute.
Okay.
yeah. I think the shaft on that was. I think the shaft on that
McCoy.
was the second was just so short. I don't think by the time I got a back plate on there it would fit. But there may be something that'll go on there. I'm sure.
Is that a wood
is
prop or a nylon prop?
That's a nylon.
That's a nylon.
Yeah,
That's
I'll just
Yeah, make that
go
go away.
offline with that.
Yeah, get rid of that.
oh yeah. That was kind of like static display.
Yeah. We are bad about taking the bearings out of the front of a McCoy because you can't get one of those to stay balanced. Everybody always told me, "Oh, sure you can't." No. I tried this a year ago to put one on a mouse racer and keep it balanced, and not a mouse racer, Foxburg racer. And
A sport racer.
yeah,
Foxburg,
everybody
yeah.
kept telling me you need this. This is what you need because you can't break this. A, bull. B, you can't keep it balanced. We broke it. I smacked the darn thing to get it started, and I saw half the prop hit the floor. So the only prop I had sitting there was a 10-7.
No good. Terrible
A 10
props.
A 10-7 wood prop. I put that on there, and it lasted
Master
3
air
races.
screw and AP.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. Master air screws are tough, but those old things, those old white ones, man, they were awful. They get hard in the wintertime, and you smack it one time, and it snaps.
So, Greg on the chat box, Greg, that is a magician.
Snaps right off. About that. Flown sport with Fard for years. PC. There's.
You know, you might need to cut your video to improve your audio, Lynn. Possibly, I don't know.
He just didn't.
No, I still see him.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, he dropped out on mine, but I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's too bad.
I got a question for you, Charles. What that Sky Ray you showed us? What all's been done to that thing?
Oh, yeah.
I know
I'm
you
going
got.
to do that.
I know you got 2-wheel landing gear on it, but what else have you done to it?
Well,
I'm cutting
I
video
bought it.
right now.
All right, cool, Lynn. I bought the Skyray off of a Flying Buddy.
Uh-huh.
So the one thing I've done to it is flown it.
Yeah.
I tried to make it to a trainer. I added nose weight to try to tame it down a little bit, and I even extended the elevator horn to tone it down, make it less sensitive.
Yeah.
It never worked out to be a really good trainer. I think that's what ruined my son's interest in it. It was just too much for him to fly. Hey Ed, you
Yeah.
made it in.
Hey, Ed.
Hey,
Well, I tell you one we did this weekend.
Hey, Ed.
Thanks.
oh, you're all broken up too, Ed.
Yeah,
Your
you're all
audio.
broken up.
We took a full size, a 60 size Cardinal, and I fly it with a OS 46 VF on a pipe.
Wow.
Flown it that way for years. Well, I hadn't flown it in a couple of years, but anyway, took it back out there and tried. I wanted to try this fingertip control stuff.
Right.
I said, well, if I total this one, it's not going to be like totaling one of my new ones because this is an old plane.
Right.
So I took it out and tried a new hard point handle. It's one of the Smith Brothers handles, and it's a hard point handle. It's a hard point handle, and if you're on here, I'm gonna have a couple more of them darn things. Don't quit making them now. Anyway, a hard point handle, and I just holding it, not really with my fingertips, but just my fingertips wrapped around, and flew it, and it was more than I could hold. So, a buddy of mine was in from I don't know where the heck he lives now. It wasn't Oklahoma. I don't know where he is now. Anyway, he was up with his pattern master. Yeah, that's right, Lynn, another lumber wagon. And
That's okay. That's good.
he got me to fly. No, listen, he got me to fly his lumber wagon. And I couldn't believe how easy it was to fly. So we retrimmed my Cardinal. Now, keep in mind, my Cardinal's at least 12 years old. And we retrimmed my Cardinal, and now I can fly it on my fingertips.
Nice.
So, and it flies better than it ever has.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's
learning,
that hard
I feel like
point
I'm learning
handle.
to fly
They're
all over
amazing.
again. Yeah. I like the
Me
way
too,
it flies.
that hard point handle.
Let me
The hard
interrupt.
point handle I really like. Go ahead.
Phil, actually, this is regarding you, Phil. Mike
Okay.
Wonky says, Charles, please let Phil know his Skyray plans are packaged and will be sent as soon as I can get to the post office. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Where the heck is Mike?
I don't
He's
know.
on YouTube.
And then
What's
let
going on?
me read another message here. Greg Nilsson says the old Vico spinners had a nut and a nose extension for those old motors. I think that's regarding your magician, Mark.
Okay.
Well, I'm all caught up, you guys. Go ahead. Let her rip.
We just we're too old to rip. I mean, excuse me. Oh, Lord.
I started moving stuff up into the shop from the basement.
All right.
Good
Bringing
stuff.
boxes and stuff all packed up and that. I've been having a ball going through and finding stuff I didn't remember where it was and that. Come across two things of interest. You talked about that 40 SF. You know, Thunder Tiger made a 46 Pro, I think they call it.
Yeah.
I've got one of those all in pieces in a box. I remember buying it from a hobby shop. Somebody brought it back in, didn't like it, it was all apart, and there might be a part missing. I'm gonna try putting it back together again, seeing if there's seeing what parts are missing. Does anybody know if they're still making any parts for those?
I don't know, but I have a 46 Pro control line Thunder Tiger motor.
They were good motors, best I remember.
Yeah, very, very powerful.
Okay, well, that's
high RPM kind of motor.
Well, it's like the 46 SF.
Is that any?
What, Lynn?
Is that anything like a Magnum Pro 45?
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. Very high-powered motor, but it runs good.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Magnum Pro 45, the RC version. That was the first one I bought when I was in the United States. And I tell you, the carburetor from that motor is the best carburetor for an RC motor ever made. It's perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
If you know how to adjust the carburetor,
They're a good motor.
outstanding.
I've got one that's reworked.
Yep. Actually, what I did, I took the carburetor from a Magnum Pro and I put it on different, a 60 size motor, and it worked just fine on that 6. The way they make
That's
the
cool.
car and the way they make the stuff inside there, the way they cut it, and the way it meters as it moves in and out, because the carburetor is rotational and a translation, right? And the way it translates this way with the rotation and the metering on a needle valve as it goes inside the main needle valve is just perfection. I mean, I just
That's awesome.
when I adjusted the motor, I could idle it forever. And I was on my remote control. I would just one click up, and with every click, the motor would respond in the changing throttle, and I would maintain it over there. I mean, it was just
Wow.
Well, for those of you flying RC, if I get this thing rebuilt, I'm not flying any RC right now. The carburetor's on this Thunder Tiger. If anybody wants it, they can have it.
Yeah, that's neat. That is neat.
I also found something that Charles would be interested in. I found the muffler to that 81 that I loaned you.
Oh, very good.
So now I can send that to Russell.
Now you can send it to the gentleman that runs Control Line Parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad.
I think when he sees it, I'll probably get a new one for free.
I got a question for.
I hope so.
Go ahead.
I got a question for Treon. Treon, I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. A couple of weeks ago, you had I don't know if it was a formula when you're talking about capacity and battery capacity for electric motors. Is there a particular formula you use, about capacity for the motor as far as?
If you know the battery that you're using right now and how much you're using, you can anticipate if you change the voltage, how much capacity you need for that, right? That's one thing, But if you think about how big of a battery you need to have and how many cells you need, it all depends on the motor that you're using and the propeller and the RPM that you want to run. So you start with the motor, the prop, and RPM that you want to run, and kind of work your way down from there. But there's no like silver bullet to figure it out, because, so for example, you let's say you build a Nobler, right? And you want to make it electric, and say you plan to run a say 11.6 prop on it, okay, which is about right, 10.6, 11.6, something like that.
I think that's
and
what I
now,
want.
yeah, now you can look in the motor charts and see which motor is going to spin that prop at, say, about 10,000 RPMs. I don't think we need any more than that, right? And let's say with some headroom, let's say 11,000 RPM, right? So since you have 11,000 RPM, now you start to think about the batteries, right? What do I want to go? I want to go 4-cell battery. I want to go 5-cell battery. I want to go 6-cell battery. So basically, you take the voltage in a battery pack, right? And you take 11,000 RPM divided by the voltage in a battery pack, right? And that's going to give you how many RPMs per minute the motor should turn. That's the kV rating of the motor, right? So if my calculations are, somewhat decent, I think at 11,000 RPM, if you go with a 6-cell, then you're going to probably looking for a motor that's about 500 kV. Okay. So for each volt that you put in a motor, is going to spin 500 RPMs. Put 2 volts, it's 1,000 RPMs. Put 3 volts, 1,500 RPMs, and so on and so forth, right? It's just simple math, right? So now, if you want to use a 5-cell battery, I think that turns out to be about 680 kV, somewhere over there. Or if you use a 4S, I think it's about close to about 700 and change kV for a 4S battery, right? So this is how you match the battery voltage to the kV of the motor, right? Make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I guess.
But now, even if you decide to do on the battery and the motor with a kV, the problem is sometimes if the motor is too small, it has the kV and it can do the job, right? If the motor is too small, it will draw a lot of amperage out of the battery. Make sense? Because the smaller
Right.
the motor, the more amps you need to pump into it, the more power you need to pump into it to get the job done, right? So imagine a washing machine motor spinning a 12-inch prop. It doesn't even notice that, right? Or and then
Right.
imagine a motor the size of my finger, trying to spin the same prop at the same RPM. It's gonna have a tough time doing it, right? It's
Of
just
Right.
course.
common sense, right? So now the balance is like what I see a lot of people doing is they use too small of a motor to get the job done. They look in the charts and say, "Oh, this
That's
motor is
what I was
gonna,
getting at.
yeah, this motor is gonna turn on 11.6 at that RPM. Well, I have to put the voltage in it, right? Sure, that's correct, but you have to put a lot of amps into it, and you have to produce put a lot of power into it, which comes from the battery, right? Now,
More heat too.
what does this mean? This means one thing, the battery has to work real hard to release the energy, right? You have high amperage, which means a bigger ESC that needs to handle that kind of amperage, right? And then it finally gets to the motor, right? That gets the job done. Now, you save on a motor 15 grams, let's say, or 20 grams, or an ounce. Who gives, whatever. Choose your poison, right? But guess what? The battery has to be heavier because you need to be a heavy battery that's able to put out the juice. The ESC is heavier because you need more amps on the ESC. Instead of running a 33 amp ESC, you use a 66 or something like that. And guess what? The ESC is 1 ounce heavier. The battery is 1 ounce heavier. So you think you're saving the weight over here, but in actuality, you double it on the other side. If
Right.
it
Yeah.
makes any sense. So
That was
that's
kind
why
of
the Morse,
I was,
yeah. So that's why the Morse needs to be bigger than what you think. All right. So
okay.
if everybody uses a certain size motor, I almost guarantee you that size is so much on the limit. You know, if you go to the next size higher, either diameter, keep the length the same, go higher in diameter, or keep the diameter and say go to a longer motor to get more windings, more magnets in there to get the job done. So, but because of this stuff, it's not a silver bullet to say like, yeah, this is going to work or that's not going to work. Now it also depends on the plane. Is the plane with a thin wing or it's a big fat wing, right? We have more drag or less drag. So again, you have to produce enough thrust to combat the drag, and because of this, my general direction in which I tend to incline for an electric plane. If you want to do an electric conversion or build an electric plane that's typical for that, look for something with a thin airfoil. Look for something that's um, look for a motor that's a little bit larger in size.
Right.
For example, the um, uh, I kind of like the Joker motors. It's like, yeah, you know, 'cause you guys can think whatever you want to think about it, but I think they're great motors, right? And they're relatively inexpensive with good Japanese bearings inside of them. They're lightweight and they have a lot of power, a lot of power. And if you look at what I'm using, the motor I'm using on my 40 size plane would easily fly a 60 size plane.
Okay. That was kind of my question too. Is where you get into wing area and things like that. That's how would you choose the size motor? I know you talked about RPMs and how many RPMs you want to run, but if you
Uh,
said like a 40 size airplane or a 60 size airplane,
uh-huh.
is there something that's going to say, okay, I need I
Mm.
don't know the motors or the
Well,
sizes of them,
yeah.
but
So in general, for a 60 size plane, the motors are usually, if you look at the technical data on them, they weigh about 210 grams, uh, and they put out about a bit over 1,000 and some even over 1,100 watts. Okay, 1,100 watts of power. And that motor is so powerful. If you put a 12.6 on it, it's effortless. Okay, so the
right.
motor is not going to get hot. You can probably go with a 33 amp ESC on that, and the battery is gonna put such little amperage out of it. It's gonna have an easy time working. Okay, so you have a very cool running system that doesn't get hot, that doesn't overheat, it doesn't put too much effort. So when it needs to get there, like in a colder air or something like that, not a problem. Okay, so
Right,
that's what I would do. So for 60 size plane, yeah, I say 60 size plane, go with a 40 to 50. If you go for a 40 size plane, I'll go with the 35 48. It's about 35 millimeter diameter, 48 long. Those motors are about 160-gram range or something like that.
Okay,
You
very
can
good.
find them, and you match the kV of the motor to whatever battery you're gonna use. I think 4S on a 40 size plane works great. Uh, you can run 4, 5, or 6S on a 60 size as well. Um, I mean,
Okay.
just yeah, that's
Great explanation. Great explanation. I think you got to the point of what I was getting at is always oversize the motor.
Yeah, it
For
was
what
gonna save you weight down the line, big time. And
Thank
not
you.
only that, the small motor means the motor runs hot, the ESC runs hot, the battery runs hot. All that heat is lost energy. Well, guess what? You have to oversize the battery to compensate. Not you don't only need the battery sized so you can pull the plane through the air. You have to have the battery extra sized to create all this heat, right?
Yeah, makes
Because this
sense.
lost energy has to come from somewhere. The only place it could come from is from the battery. So guess what? A small motor is probably the worst thing you're gonna do on the plane.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, when I first started, and I said, some things didn't add up to me. And one thing that it didn't add up to me, those little bitty tiny motors spinning a 4-inch pitch prop at 11,000 RPM. I was like, what? Electric motors are completely mirror image of a internal combustion motor. They're most efficient at 0 RPM, and they love to run at low RPM. Very efficient over there, right? IC motors are super efficient at high RPM, where it produces the torque and everything. So you cannot think the same electric as you think IC. And the disconnect that I had over there is that you use the same propeller that you used on a plane before, and trying to produce the same RPM with an electric motor. And uh, and I was trying to imagine what if I did it and I didn't know anything about it, right? And and what
Me.
I would do is I would put the biggest motor I could probably fit in there in a nose. And the distance between our crutches on an IC motor is a 60 size motor, it's 36 millimeter. So the only thing you can fit inside is a 35 millimeter motor, and the biggest 35 millimeter motor, the strongest one. Guess which one it is? Is the Axi motor, right? So follow the logic, right? But that's the biggest motor. That's your limitation. Now you put a prop on it. Now you try to spin the prop at a million RPMs, right? Now now you need an ESC that's gonna pump enough juice into the motor to make it spin at that RPM, and now you need a big enough battery to do that. So if you tie it all together, you come with a 60 amp ESC. You come up with a 2800 milliamps 6S battery, and you still use that itty bitty motor, right? And you use the same prop that you used before on your IC motor, right? Does this all make sense, right?
Yeah. Makes good sense. Great explanation.
Super hot. Everything is super hot and it's on the edge, right?
Yeah.
So it's not optimized. It's so.
No, it's good. Great explanation. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Question
Go ahead, Ed.
on your electric motors. When you're searching for them, do they give the equivalent of the IC engines? So if you're building say a Nobler and you want to put a 40 size IC engine in it, say a LA 40, in your
Mhm.
Nobler, and you wanted to switch it to electric, do
Mhm.
they have does the electric motors say 40 size or
No,
whatever to let you know?
they don't do that. They give you a kV. They give you the power in watts for them. So those are the two things that you're gonna get from the motor besides the size of the motor.
Basically,
Some,
getting started in electric is
Mhm.
to ask people who's done it to find out how to get started. Then you can figure out what you need to do up or down from there.
Pretty
Yeah.
much,
If you
yes,
want
that
to,
would be a good a good start. However, if you look at all of them, and looked, I think I've searched every single plane that was a 60 size plane over there, um, and there are very few that use a big enough motor on them. Very few. So I'm using a 3548 on my 40 size motors, and I'm spinning an 11.6 on it. I'm running it on 4S. So I can give you a link for that. If you, what do you want to build? A 40 size plane or a?
Oh, I'm not looking right now. I was just
Okay.
curious as to how the electric motors were classified. You
Mhm.
know, you got your IC engines as their the cubic inch,
Mhm.
and I didn't know if the electric motors were classified as the same equivalents.
No.
no, but I tell you, you can, if you're going to do like a Nobler, everybody will tell you to put a 2820 in your Nobler. And
Eh.
that's what I started with. Now I have a 2826 in it, and it's much happier. And the batteries last, I mean, I got a lot of juice left in the batteries now, and the motor's cool. Where
Well,
with the 2820, it was hot when I landed.
maybe
Mhm.
maybe sometime in the future I might uh cross over, but right now I don't have any plans of doing it. Uh,
Yeah.
but the way things are going, looks like you might have to because shit's getting so hard to find.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I were doing it with a Nobler that was a kit Nobler, I'd make the battery where it could go as far back as I could, and I'd put a 3548 in it. Just go with
Yeah.
a 40 size
All
motor.
right. Yeah, well, I was just
Yeah.
using the Nobler for an example because
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I
that's a
used
that's
one
a
because I
common
had it.
plane. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just used it because I had it, but I started
Yeah.
out with what everybody told me, and I started listening to Trey, and I said, well, I don't have a 3548, but I do have a bigger motor. I've got a 2826, so I'll try that. Spins the same prop. I use the same batteries, but there's a lot more juice left in them with a 2826 than there was
well,
with a
yeah, it's
2820.
like Trey says, common sense. You don't want to work your motor to death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's probably
well, it
running
works.
a lot cooler.
It's running
It
a lot
also
cooler.
produces the power. You don't run in overhead issues.
Yeah.
Not it's for everybody that has problems with it, like it's a system running hot. I tell them this is one simple fix. Go to the next size motor.
Okay, do you have to
Yeah.
use any heat sinks or anything like that?
No.
I don't use any of it.
Because I know
Yeah.
I used to, back years and years ago. I mean, when I was a teenager, I had
Yeah.
an electric RC car, and it had to have the heat sink on it
Mm.
because it got so hot. So I didn't
Mhm.
know.
Well,
If
back then our motors weren't like they are now. Those were brushed motors. They made a
Right.
lot more heat in the first place. Two, then they're right down on the ground where they're, most of us had our motors enclosed so that the dirt didn't get in them.
Yeah.
So we had to have
There's
heat
no
sinks on
airflow
those.
over them. Yeah.
But I don't run cars anymore, but my grandson does, and the cars that he runs, they're 3 times faster than what I ever had. I mean,
Oh
we
yeah.
were running in the championship. The stuff that he's got now just would blow my championship car away.
Mhm.
They're so much
Phil,
faster now. It's been 10 years and they're so much faster. It's not even funny.
yeah,
Yeah. I've
Phil.
got a.
Are they still
Uh,
running in-runner motors though, or not?
mhm.
I don't even know anymore. I don't go out there except when he asks me to go out there and watch him. But he's got a truck that's so darn fast it'll blow over backwards.
Can I
You
can
know,
I
No joke.
I
can I
was
make one
actually thinking about.
clarification? Yeah,
Go for it.
Eddie, Phil, you guys have to be mindful about when you say what motor you have, because a 2826 motor can mean two completely different things, right? Some manufacturer measure the physical outer shell of the motor, the outer
Okay, you're right.
diameter, and the overall length. Other manufacturers, like for example the Cobras, they measure the stator, right?
Yeah, I
Right,
use Cobra. All my
right.
stuff's Cobra.
Yeah. So the Cobra looks at the inside of the motor, the windings, the diameter of the stator, and the length of the windings, right?
Hmm.
So depending what you're looking at, so you're probably gonna find out that a Joker 4250 measures the outside measurements, a 42 millimeter diameter, about 50 long. If you look at the Cobra, the same thing, right? The same exact
Hmm.
motor, or the equivalent motor, to be more correct. It's actually a 3520 or something like that. Uh, I don't know
Yeah. Okay.
exactly the numbers, but be mindful when when you say the motor, because different manufacturer, and these are pretty much the two major ways of the way they
Yeah.
define the motors in electric. Yeah, they either go by the outside dimensions, or they go by the physical dimensions of the stator, which is
Yeah.
it's inside the motor.
Yeah, because
And
that's
I got one quick question for you. Where do you get your jokers? From Lingen
Lindinger.
Felter, Lindinger. That's who I'm trying to get them from, and I've got 2 ordered. I'll try. I'm gonna try to finish it in the morning. Get back on it in the morning. For some reason, I kept getting knocked offline tonight. I don't know what the heck's going on. But I've
Uh,
got 2 of them. I've got 2 of them. I'm trying to
mm,
order.
yeah. Well, I ordered them before this COVID bullshit was going on.
Yeah. Well, I know what you mean, but they've been telling me they didn't have them in stock, and now I got an email said they're back in stock. So I went
Okay,
ahead and placed my order. So we'll see.
sure
well.
thing.
We'll see.
Here's
And I ordered 4250 V3 510 kV.
Uh-huh. Those are
Is that
really,
right?
really nice for a 60 size ship.
Is that what
Yeah.
goes in the Revolution?
Yes, that's what I have in
Good,
mind.
because that's what I'm planning
Yeah.
for.
They
what
have,
I was.
and if you look at them, they actually have 3 motors over there, the 4250s.
Uh,
One is 680, which is perfectly matched for a 6S, and also they have an 820, which is perfectly matched for a 4S battery. Okay.
okay.
Um, what I'm doing right now for my application, I
Hmm.
do not care for the weight. I think
Yeah.
my plane is too light as is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I can care less if I have a bigger battery, right?
Yeah.
In all honesty, I can use. I charge my batteries on a field today. I was putting 4100 milliamps. No, 1400 milliamps, 1400 milliamps back in a pack, right?
Yeah.
I can get away with a 6S 1800 milliamps, 1850
Wow.
milliamps, and have no issues just pulling through the flight and finishing with no worries whatsoever. Now, but if you have a heavier plate and you want to save some weight or something like that, you might want to go to the higher kV motors and use a 4S battery, because the problem is that the 6S you cannot find them in that small of a package with a low C rating, right?
Yeah.
You
Mine
cannot
are
find
all.
a 25 C rating. You might find them in a 60 or 70 or a high C rating like they use for the drone racing. But
Mm,
they just it's just way overkill for me, so I don't really need them. And as the C rating goes up, also the battery weight goes up. So it's, I was looking at that stuff. I can go like 2200 milliamps with a higher C rating. Guess what? It weighs the same, just as
yeah.
much as my 2800 6S does. So
That's
to
what I've
me,
got. 6 of the 2800s.
yeah, to me, it was like, it doesn't make any sense. 2800 is going to be very comfortable, and that motor pretty much going to pull any plane you want to put through here,
Well,
including
what
the
I'm trying to do
Stinger,
is just
probably.
get mine set up to fly like yours does, because I like the way yours flies.
My well, back to my plans was maybe in sometime here in the future, pretty soon. I've got plans for an El Diablo,
Oh,
which
that's a good plane.
it's a little 42 inch, 35 size, uh, no flap, big elevator on it. I think Mike had Monkey had some pictures of one at that last contest.
Yeah,
I just love the design of that plane, and I thought, well, maybe that'd be a good candidate to start off with electric. It's got a square fuselage. It'd be easy to mount a battery in it.
Mhm.
You'll not have to worry about that. Plus, start off small. Just something to start off with.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that plane every week. That's Tony's plane, and it really flies well.
Man, I
Yeah.
want to see videos of one fly. I've seen pictures and pictures of it, and I've got plans for it. And I actually started several years ago. I've got the uh, tracings out on my. What I do is I take the blueprints or the plans, put carbon copy under them, and trace them out on poster board to make my templates, and then trace it out on my wood, so I can just keep everything individual and try to trace it out on the wood. If you mess up, then you can't really see what you're doing. But
Yeah.
I got the rib templates and everything drawn out. I just hadn't got around to making it, but I really like the way that plane looks. It's simple, simple
thing I would
design.
tell
And
you,
it's just
the only thing I would tell you when you build that airplane is when you have what would be flaps on the back of that wing, and
Right.
it shows your skins to come down and go into the flaps, and it tells you to make that all in one piece. Don't build it top and bottom piece, and then sand the back straight, and then put your flap onto it. Fixed flap. Don't make it movable. Or
Right.
I don't think El
But-
Diablo has flaps.
no, it
No,
don't.
it doesn't have a flap. But
It's
the
just
wing
got a
comes
large.
down. The wing
It's got a
comes
large
down,
scallop. It's just a large
It's got a
scallop.
scallop.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
make that scallop as a separate piece, because if you try to make it all together, everyone I've seen that does it has a starved horse look, or it's warped or something.
Right.
Just make the trailing edge come down and then put the piece on there. Tom
Yeah.
Looper could get away with doing it the other way. Charlie Reeves can do it the other way. He's got it on his I forgot the name of his plane, a big job.
Yeah.
But not many people can pull that one off and make it work. It's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah.
I got mine to work, but I wouldn't do it that way again. I'd do it in 3 pieces next time.
They
You got
tried
one?
it.
What, an El Diablo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trying.
I have not flown it. Have not flown it yet.
Oh
Have
man.
They
Mine
tried
does
it.
not have a mine does not have a Fox 35. Mine's an OS 25S. I think that'll be plenty of power.
Yeah.
I still
Anyway.
say OS. Go ahead.
I'll let y'all go ahead.
Go ahead, Denny.
Well, I was just going to ask Ryan if he's been a good boy here Christmas season, huh?
Very good.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
What? Okay.
35 1800, weighs 9 ounces, and is it's actually a smaller format battery.
Okay.
Like a 95 millimeter long instead of a 105, it's slightly shorter.
Mhm.
I got these from Dan. Dan is the supplier for Brodak.
Mhm.
And I don't remember. I got them for myself. I didn't put them on the Brodak line because, frankly, I think you need to be in a really happy place, to be able to use a battery like this. You need the right way in airplane and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's competitive with a high capacity 4-cell and use your 6-cell motor and stuff like that. But to your point, if you need the weight for balance or something like that, this might not be your happy. That might not be a good one for you. But if you're using 1400, you can probably get there from here with an 18, can't you?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. But like I said, number one, I'm not worried about the weight of the plane. And number two, after a flight, when I'm finishing the flight, Dan, I'm directly in a storage charge.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go home, I don't have to recharge my battery to put them in storage charge
Okay.
at all. It's
It
right
is.
over there. And
His plane to be so big, you would never believe could be so light. His airplane is very large, but you pick it up and you wonder where did it go.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the airplane in Muncie last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You were there.
It was so big and light and everything like that.
Hey, trying.
Around in a violin.
Unidirectional
Yeah.
carbon fiber. Did you have a hard time getting it out of England?
No.
I'm going there next week, Steve. You want me to pick you up some?
You know what? Maybe I'll have to because it says this item is restricted for international import, but we are allowed to send it to customers in Australia, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Switzerland, and the United States.
All right, Steve, what I did when I talked to them, you have to fill in some kind of a form and give them a form, right? And then they're going to ship it to you. No big deal.
Yeah, so there was that shipping problem.
It's not a shipping problem. It's a technicality that bullshit.
So what the hell are they using unidirectional carbon fiber on that? Missiles or something?
You'd be surprised nowadays.
Hey guys, let me interrupt for a second. Dennis, did you get a chance to finish your chain of thought? I know Steven kind of stepped on you.
Yeah, I kind of think I think Tryon was making a point he couldn't find the 35C 1800 pack. So I just wanted to point out that they are available. You can get them. And if he gets into a situation where he maybe needs that sometime.
The audio is messing up. Yeah, your mic moved something. Your mic.
That's why I hate my microphone so bad. I'm embarrassed to come on here.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
It goes through a few seconds, you're clear as a bell, and then it goes through a few seconds. Sound like you're talking with your hands.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Dennis, here's what I told you about today.
Oh no, the hybrid.
Yeah. The hybrid. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about how much battery you need and stuff.
Yeah.
Very warped.
Yeah.
Let's see. By the time you put the fuel, an ESC, and a battery inside, plus the module, the controls, all the stuff in there, that's gonna be
too much weight, too much problems.
Yeah.
Let John get in. John Miller wants something. He wants to say something.
I just had a question for Dennis. Dennis, were you contacted yet by a fellow that's wanting information on electrified twin Pathfinder?
Dave Heinzman?
Huh?
Dave Heinzman?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to send him your way to show so you could show him what a twin Pathfinder really looks like. So,
well, he saw the picture. He saw the pictures of yours that I'd posted somewhere in the history of the Pathfinder, and so he thought that was mine, and I had to know that was yours. And I said, quite frankly, I don't know much about electrical, but Dennis does. That's his airplane, because he wanted some information on how you routed the battery wires and things like that too. So
I want to know everything about it. I want to know everything about it. I got one built downstairs. I was putting 225s on. Everybody kept telling me that's too much. So now I've decided what the heck, I'll modify it and electrify it.
There you go. That's the best way to go.
Well, I want to find out the battery size and the motors and the whole bit. But I'll have to get up with you one day this week or try to and see if I can't get in touch with you and find out what all you put in that thing.
That's the guy.
That's a good looking airplane.
One big battery or two small ones?
One battery.
One battery.
One battery. There are people who argue, convincingly, people from Castle said you're really better off if you use two batteries. I forget exactly why, but he said that the dynamic response is better. And it's really kind of a toss-up for what it gets you for weight, because one battery seems lighter than two batteries, but you also have to carry a really heavy Y harness and a lot of copper in order to do the cells and stuff like that. So the total install, I'm not sure, is really any lighter for one battery versus two. Now, it is kind of a pain in the, in the butt. Every time you fly, you got to, change two batteries. You got to make sure you got, twice as many batteries on hand and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you got to be keeping up and doing your homework, so you make sure all the used batteries together, all the hot batteries together.
Yeah.
And you start mixing and matching because it's just not a happy result. But
One battery. It's easy for us simple folks.
Yeah, you got to keep it simple.
The twin and the single that I built were both based on a Brodak art.
Yeah.
The twin weighed 4 ounces more than the single did. All right. The total motor size, I used two 2810 motors on the twin and one 2820 motor on the single. That means that the total magnet length was the same for both turbines, which I suppose is not a big surprise. The single flew at a 12-inch drop, the twin flew at 2 9-inch drops, which totals about the same light area, this area, as one 12-inch drop. And I used the same battery for both airplanes, but the twin did use a little bit more. The battery was probably borderline on the twin. So I was using a 4S28 that made both airplanes. And I had 4S3500, that's what I would use. When I would be a problem. So, but it's most of the thing with it is it's kind of a just do it kind of thing. It's not hard to do. I set mine up with a single timer driving both the SCs and all human those timers for twins. I understand theoretically it's a timer for twins and everything like that. If you want to go active timer, do that. So, hardware the gamble was a little better than it was. Frankly, I like the way this one worked. I didn't buy a lot of most of my nephews would. He switched out the ESCs to the Castle. I remember Castle Phoenix ESCs, and we switched out to the, I think it was the Ice. And the first one had the animal boxes. He was getting all the fight books and everything. And so he was trying to gather data that way with it, stuff like that. It was, the data came through. Basically identical side to side, everything like that. So,
good looking plane. A good looking plane.
It is. Yeah, Pathfinder's the basic equipment airplane anyway. And, doing a solid target. One thing I did is, on that arc, I cut off the, I should, chisel off where the cheek panel, the Pathfinder there, it's only on one side of the fuselage. And if I hit over again, I'd go ahead and chisel it off. After I put the battery back in, I try to put the cheek back on both sides to kind of have it boxing a little bit more of a strictly cosmetic. There's nothing, it's not a strength issue or anything like that. It'd be a strictly cosmetic thing. You want to kind of use that one. That's all.
How did it fly?
Well, very well. My nephew flew the second one twin back to back. He thought the twin might be a little bit better. He liked it a little better. But I think maybe that was his cool factor. So.
Yeah.
Danny, is your mic in your cable? Is your microphone in your cable that goes to your headset, or?
It's built into the laptop here. So.
It's built into the laptop. It's really poor. It's really hard to understand what you're saying.
So I had some nice weather this past weekend, and Sunday I decided to go out and burn some flights. I think I put in about 10 flights or so on the plane. So just to go out and have some fun with it. And I did record one of the flights at, it's not particular order, just a random. I just did the recording on one of them. If you guys want to see it, I can share it with you.
Yeah, I saw it today. We want to share it on the right side, Tryon. There's a link for YouTube.
I know that. Yeah.
That
No,
way
I don't want to do it on YouTube. I want to do the original footage that I had on here. So it's probably gonna come straight from me, not through YouTube, through all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's a little bit better. So, but if it's bad, I'll stop it and stuff like that. But and we can just here you go.
Go ahead, go for it.
Here you go, guys. You guys see it?
Yeah, this is the one I saw on YouTube today.
Hey, he's flying with the wrong hand.
So some of the things that I was thinking is like I wish I had like a coach with me to tell me what the heck I'm doing wrong. It's like
But filming is a good way to see what you're doing wrong.
yeah, yeah. But the only problem is you know it later on. Like you have to really go after it. So in the reverse wing over, the first part is just beautiful. Bam. I'm nailing it here, going down deep. Oof.
The only thing I see you're doing wrong is you're using the wrong hand.
No, but on the second one, what I did, I just I overturned in an inverted flight. I just overturned in past 90 degrees, and then I also kind of bent out of shape after that.
Now that loop was kind of more like a bean shape as opposed to being like a ball shape.
Yeah, I like it from the center. Looks nice and round, but this camera will distort a little bit because in some cases looks like it's climbing when it's not climbing. I guarantee you it's not climbing, right? So but it looks in the camera, it looks like it's climbing a little bit on one side and a little bit funny looking.
Well, trying you wanted a coach, you got to be careful what you wish for. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see how it's much more rounder than the inside was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that was pretty there.
And
That's just plain pretty.
If you want somebody to tell you what you're doing wrong, try and bring your wife. She'll be happy. They love doing that.
You're up to world champion, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this is where this plane really, really shines, and this is where I'm saying I don't really need weight-wise or something like that. Look how fast it turns. And especially if you watch it in the next maneuver in a triangle. I mean, it's a beast.
Yeah, the triangle, I really liked the triangle you did. I saw this, and that's what I thought was really good.
I mean, it's
turning so it's kind of hard to see how nice it is because we're not catching every single frame in this video.
No, but it really turns.
Yeah, it's like stop motion or something.
Oh, it's coming out bad?
Yeah, no, this is better than 90% of them we've seen on here, though, Trayan. This
stop action, but okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, we can stop it then if it's bad.
Still better than most. No. I want to see the hourglass.
Go ahead and show it.
Show it. I want to see the hourglass. Man, that was pretty. You got your symmetrics down.
The squares are good.
Yeah, it's got a symmetry down.
I'm also transitioning to with my flying style to focus more on the background than just look at the plane. I'm looking more on the background, visualizing the maneuver than following the plane, and that really works for me. But I'm still transitioning some of them. There's your hourglass.
I'm trying to do that and learn to fly on my fingertips too, and that's it's too much to do at once. Wow, that thing turns. That was pretty.
It's effortless. Watch this overhead 8 because I was watching the video of this and I was pretty proud of this next two maneuvers.
You got the center right. That looked good. Darn.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Wow.
You got low there on that pull out.
Yeah.
Did get a little low there, Trayan.
Yeah.
Made me a little nervous.
Yeah.
I know it made.
Yeah. Watch this clover. Bam.
You're having to climb a little bit in between.
It was not climbing. I guarantee you I was not climbing there at all. It's the camera that distorts it.
That is pretty.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I thought it was really nice.
It's just so. This
You
is
know
what
that
I'm talking
little
about.
maneuver you did there at the end of the pattern. I have seen more planes torn up right there. Charlie Reeves tore up a big job at Charlotte, Huntersville. Doing he's just clearing his lines, and the darn thing quit prematurely and just destroyed that big job. I said, "Oh my goodness, it was the prettiest one yet." And he just destroyed it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. All right.
And
So
Now, see,
there you go.
you've got this figured out. I mine cuts. I'm cutting mine too close. I'm flying at 5.5, and I get the pattern in 2 laps, and it quits. Yours is going right. You're flying 3 or 4 laps after the pattern, which is the better way to do it.
Yeah, if I have like a something going on here or there or something like that, it's just
That's a better way to do it. I'm gonna put 10 more seconds of mine before I go next time.
Yeah, it's
And
easy.
what airplane is that? I know it's one you built, obviously, but
It's Revolutions.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Revolutions. Yeah, it turns so fast. It's like if I was hurting for the turning ability, or if I was hurting for too heavy, too much pull on the lines or something like that, I would definitely consider going to a lighter battery. But right now, it doesn't really need it. I mean, you see how fast it turns. It's a beast in a turn. I mean, it just turns so fast. I mean, it's like actually what you see here. It's a tamed version of it, because in a full blown fast mode, I cannot keep up with it. I cannot keep up with it.
I'm sorry. Comparisons, you guys. Let me play this video again through YouTube, the same video we just saw, just so we can see the advantage of doing it this way. Let's see here.
Fire in the hole.
Nicely. I mean, the
video unavailable. Watch on YouTube.
Is the video better to you guys than the other one?
I got a black screen. It says video unavailable. Watch on YouTube.
Me too.
Okay. I showed the video before. Let me see here. You guys still can't see it?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll pause it then. Okay, I did this once before and it showed up.
I can see it very well. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I can see it fine. Charles, it looked really good.
Oh, you saw it. You could see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see it also.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys couldn't see it, but you see it was much smoother, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's
It
show
went
the
smoother
video.
through YouTube. How about that?
There's a link on the right side of the video conference platform. If you click those 3 little dots, you'll see manage video quality, stop live stream. I don't know if you guys see that, but there's a thing for YouTube, share YouTube video. If you hit those 3 dots in the lower right-hand corner,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, but on mine, I can share a YouTube video. Can you guys do that, or you guys can't?
Yes, I have that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yes, we have that option.
All right. Yeah, that's the better way to show a YouTube video, I think.
Okay, well,
How
my
about
bad.
that?
I thought it would probably look better through the raw footage versus from the YouTube, but okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, at least we know now. I mean, we'll just do it that way.
Sure. So who didn't see it?
Well, I saw it the first time.
Oh, I see. cool.
Can't get the screen to go away. That's weird.
So you couldn't see it the second time, Phil? You only saw the one
No,
that.
sir. Mine was just black.
Okay. I don't know why that is.
Well, I'm on an Apple, so that might be the problem. I need to get my real computer out and try it, but if I'd have to start getting ready at 8 o'clock so the darn thing could upgrade enough times to be ready to work.
Do it the day before.
I put a link in the chat
There'd
box.
be more today. I'm not kidding you. That thing updates every time I turn it on. It's 30 minutes to update every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put the link here in the chat box if you guys want to watch it at your own time or whenever.
Share a video on YouTube. Now I got it.
That brings up a question for me. Is there a way to like, I've got some things that I had on my website that are oh shoot, and you know I saved the files. For instance, I've got how to use the pattern sheet to make your parts, a couple other things like that, and I've thought about wanting to bring it in here, as a show and tell or post it so guys that might not have seen it or understand it get a chance to look at it. Is there a way to do that kind of a file here on 8x8?
If you share your screen, any application on your computer, you can share it on the screen.
Okay, I'll have to remember. It's been a while. I have to remember how to put it on my screen. I'll remember. I'll figure it out. Programming. I was never strong in programming, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you share YouTube something, can you fast forward or something like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But just if you're the guy who's sharing, right?
I would imagine so. The one who's presenting it can stop it. Like I had the sound off at first, and then I turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like watching the YouTube video on YouTube itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All the controls you have on YouTube show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching YouTube.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun when you watch this video on YouTube. Watch in particular the triangles.
Yeah, the triangle was. I mean, that impressed me. And the four-leaf clover, I thought that was really nice.
I like the clover, but that hourglass was impressive. But those overheads were impressive. You got your 45 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody misses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you look like you were overhead, which that's the other thing everybody misses. Everybody wants to do them out in front of them.
My worst maneuvers are still the horizontal 8 and vertical 8.
Yeah.
And I think I seem to butcher the second part of the wing over. A little bit, So on this video, I overturn it, and instead of climbing straight up, I was climbing a little bit like this,
Yeah. We all do that sometimes, except Denny.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've ever seen Denny fly, he looks like he reminds me a lot of Les McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes a mistake, it's in every pattern that day. Les McDonald used to do that. Denny did something, I can't remember what he did when I saw him at Nats. He had one thing he did that it wasn't the way I was used to seeing it. It wasn't that it was wrong. It was just different than the way I was used to seeing it. And he did it that way every day on Wednesday. On Thursday, he did it the way somebody must have said something to him, because he did it the way I'm used to seeing it Thursday and Friday. And I didn't get to stay, but I think he did well that year. That's been a few years back. But anyway, his daddy was telling me, his dad, when he did it, his dad just shook his head and said, "Dadgummit." He wouldn't tell me what was going with it, but Art was.
I can tell you on good authority, Dad never said "dadgummit."
Well, now wait a minute. He's my hero.
He said words that conveyed that meaning, but he did not.
There you go. But anyway, he just kind of shook his head, and I don't know. I thought the world of that man. He was something else.
Yeah.
But he was a character, and your mom was too. Now, when she was out there, you couldn't get no slack. You could forget about getting slack. Your mama didn't hold back. I thought Art was the one that was critical. You know, I figured he was the judge. No, Art would give you some slack.
That's about it.
Yeah. She was a sweetheart. She was, when they were at Tucson, I think it was. Betty was out there, and I got so tickled at her, I had to turn around because I didn't think she'd appreciate me laughing at her. But she got me so tickled I couldn't stand it. Oh man, those were some good times. But
I have a
anyway,
question go out there
go ahead.
regarding flying in this hemisphere that we do. You know, to make the square, you know, we're flying in a hemisphere. Do you deliberately do something to make the legs, the vertical legs, look going, you know, that they're perpendicular to the ground because we're flying in a hemisphere?
You shouldn't do that.
Don't do it.
Judges should
Don't do it.
recognize the stuff.
Everybody tries to do that, especially in old time stunt. You'll see guys put a V in the middle. You know, they're flying across the top, and they try to put a V in it. And some of the judges have seen that so much that if you don't do it, you get judged down. So at one of the stunt schools or stunt clinics we had, I asked about it. He said, "No, don't do it. You're not supposed to. It's not supposed to be seen. If you correct, but you don't. You try to hide the correction. You don't make it so obvious, because some of the guys are making it just really obvious. And no, the judges will judge you down for that if they're doing their job. Some of the guys get by with it because they're name flyers, and that's not right. I don't care who it is. If it's my buddy Tom or if it's somebody I don't know, if they do that, they don't get the score they would if it looks smooth like a square. A square is a square. It's not a whatever the heck that is. So, you know, you got to do it right.
Yeah,
the
because
down legs,
now
the down legs on the square maneuvers, since you're, you know, let's say the square eight, they're 90 degrees apart. And so if you do them where they look right for you, they'll look candid to the judges.
To the judges,
That's what people try to correct to. But you'll be far better off to do it the way it looks right to you. The judges should be knowledgeable enough to know that that's that the way they're seeing it is not what's happening. That it's they actually should be able to tell that if it looks straight that you are not hitting the angles correctly.
Yeah.
Guarantee you one thing though, if you do a square eight, if you don't do it where the judges are directly behind you, if you'll do it where the intersection is directly in front of you, then the two sides look the same to the judges. But if you skew it off just a little bit because of the wind or something, you're screwed, because this side really looks like you V'd it, and this side over here it might look fine, but it don't. But this side over here blew it so bad they still got that one in their mind when they see this one. So
who's got the plane flying in there now?
When that makes when you make
that flight again.
Oh, that was Tryon.
That was Tryon.
When you make that kind of flight, when you make your first error, that sets up a lot of errors or apparent errors throughout the rest of that maneuver. So that's why it's so important. Like many of the like Dennis's dad, Big Art, when I went through his stunt clinic, you got to get the beginning right. You got to get the start right.
Yeah.
Entries are.
Go ahead.
Did you guys
would nail you on that?
Did you guys ever watch some of those traced flights from the
that was neat. That was neat.
I'm watching them and I said, "Holy smokes!" I said that square maneuver is as big as is bigger than the horizontal square eight. Should be, you know, just immense, you know. And
that was incredible.
I wish I had some of my flights over there, because I'm dying of curiosity. Number one, number two, I want to know what the heck I'm doing wrong.
Well, I tell you what, if you looked at what got me was some of those guys are really good flyers, and you look at their bottoms and you look at their intersections,
Mhm.
they're nowhere close to right. They're at 6 feet, and they think they're at 4, but they're really at 6 feet.
Yep.
And I was amazed. Some of those guys I figured would be dead on, but
No,
two
I
of the flights were guys that I know, and the guy that won, I really thought the other guy should have won after watching the trace flights.
Yeah. So what I've seen on the trace flights, by the way, I've seen what the best flyers do. They're very, very good at overlapping the maneuvers and using the same piece of real estate in the air to put the maneuver on. They're very consistent. Yeah, but even they kind of mess it up here or there. You see, the inside loops are perfect, overlapping and nice like that. When they do the outside look, like kind of over here, they move over there, then they move over here, kind of all over the.
Yeah, everybody's got an Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What surprises me that when I'm looking at the square maneuvers, the corner maneuvers, in particular the hourglass. If you look at the path of the hourglass, it just looks like a lazy 8, only do it vertical. I mean, no definition here when I make the first transition and just do the nice smooth climb, just the straight line, just trace with it in the straight direction.
Yeah.
No turn, nothing like that. And then the turn overhead, and then the next turn coming down and just pull out. It's very little definition over there on the hourglass.
If you watch that tracing thing, the only corner on squares is when they exit. It's like square 8. That last corner, they go boom and turn it nice and sharp. The rest of them are all fucking huge. It's like,
and then I'm wondering, why didn't I do all of them like that? I mean, just
I know it. I mean, every flyer I watched, he's 2 hours away from me, so it's still kind of hard to hook up, and stuff like that. But yeah, I told him, I said, that was the only good corner you did.
I'll tell you what, if you want some fun judging, judge old time sometime. And in the pilot's meeting before the thing, we got 2 guys here that will all time say, now on horizontal 8, do you want it to be really round and come down and come around and then come vertical and then come around, or do you want them lazy 8s, X in the middle? No, it's in the rule book. It's 2 circles. You got to fly it vertical. There's no lazy 8. There's no X in an 8. And these guys, okay, we're going to fly it vertical. And they get out there, and they're the ones that exit the worst. And they do the same thing. You go to the next contest 2 weeks later, same argument, and they do it again.
But if you think about, you know, one problem with the horizontal, with the 8s in general, it's the round 8s. The plane has a transition from moving in one direction, right? So you have all this force pulling it towards the center, right? To maintain that circular motion, and then you switch to the other side, right? Well, from going to here to there, that takes some time, right? Because you have to stop this, neutralize, and then have to pull it the other way to change directions, right? That takes time.
And you have to have a flat in there, or it looks funny.
It will have a flat if you go
I don't
vertical.
think you should have a flat. I don't think you should. I mean, when the plane goes vertical, it should be instantaneous. It goes the other way. You don't want
It is.
You know, per rule books, yes, but physically, it's impossible.
Yeah,
I think it's
right.
There's a transition over there.
That intersection to make them kiss, make those 2 loops kiss.
As soon as it kisses, you got to pop the other control.
You got to see
a big flat spot.
You got to see it flick.
Yeah. That's flick. That's a good way of saying it.
That's a great way of saying it, Steve. That's fantastic.
I had a long discussion with Bobby Hunt about that, and horizontal 8s was one of the problems that he had as he was learning. He said until he visualized it like 2 nickels sitting close, and they just touched there, and he said you have to practice that. I came to the decision with the help of Gordon Delaney is that a lot of the guys are running either slop in their elevators, or they've got their elevator bias down to help stop the hunting or to put pressure on the controller. And what that does is they get a slight hesitation when they go to make that, and that's one of the several reasons why you get a flat there. And if you can get your plane trimmed to where you don't have to have slop in your elevator or down elevator built into your trim scheme, you can avoid one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, and you can avoid one of the reasons it will help you make that appear, because that's all we're trying to do is fool the eye. Make that appear like you hit that, make that instantaneous turn, that switch over. But if you got 3 or 4 or 5 different things piling up on you, you can't do it without a flat.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now, and visualizing more and not focus on a plane a whole lot. Just I'm focusing on a circle, and then I see my plane kind of tracing on top of the circle. So I don't see the 2 nickels because they're too big for me. But as I'm finishing this one, I create the next circle next to it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm transitioning, and now I'm looking at this kind of like going back and forth in my circles.
Yeah, as long as you remember that you've got to finish this circle before you start this one, you're fine. Right. But a lot of guys come up and they start going into that one and they end up with an X.
You got to
look at the bunch
of vertical position.
I see all horizontal 8s. They have these vertical eggs.
Yeah.
A lot of
it's just supposed to come around there and just come around and touch and then pop back. And you
I want to
really
see somebody put a scoring system on that tracing deal, and then see the champion of the Nats win with like 100 points.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised to see that.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
No, I know it. Because
there was an article.
When you see it with a tracer, like it puts it in slow motion, you're like, holy shit. And it's like, what happened to level laps?
Yeah, really. There was an article somewhere. Somebody's talking about taking some kind of thing and putting in your wingtip weight box, taking 1/4 ounce weight out and putting this thing in your weight box, and it's going to track your plane. I don't know how it all works. I couldn't understand it, but the guy spoke broken English, and I'm bad enough with interpreting anyway. But somehow or another, this thing's going to track the absolute tracking of your airplane through the sphere. And they were going to compare that. They're trying to get it done so that they can take it to the Worlds and fly. But
yeah, but then once they tracked your flight, they'd send it to the Chinese government.
They throw mine to the trash can.
Probably a GPS tracker.
Yeah, they send mine to the trash can because it's bad.
Getting back to the horizontal 8s, one of the problems is if you're working on your intersection, it's going to harm or hurt that kissing of the 2 nickels. You know what I mean? So if your plane does not turn exactly the same both ways, and then you have to focus on the intersection, that skews that problem. That it magnifies.
It really shows up.
If you get a plane that turn the same, then you can not have to worry about the intersection, and then you can just go on and off at that intersection where you just kiss it.
Right.
But Charles, that's how I used to fly. That is how I used to fly. Kind of look at the plane, follow the plane, so you lose perspective, right? Now, what if you do? It really doesn't matter how the plane turns as long as you can turn on the path, right? It can maintain the path, right? That's what I'm saying. It can maintain the path. It might turn faster or slower, but if you visualize this, the 2 nickels, right? And you put it on this path, and then you focus on the second one and put it on that path. As long as you look at the path, you're pretty darn close, right? So that's what I'm doing right now in the transition. That's what I've done on overhead 8s when I was doing this maneuver that you saw it in the video. That's what I'm doing on a Clover. That's what I did on the horizontal 8s and the squares and most of the maneuvers right now. I'm changing the way I fly.
If you want a better score, pretend they're $5 gold pieces. They're worth more.
You're going to find that that you'll have trouble with most of the other maneuvers until you can get your plane trimmed so that you can fly. The plane turns the same both directions, and you can fly this easily fly nice round loops either direction.
Yeah, but it also has a bunch of relative things built into it. It's like we all have the mechanics in our hand, right? Right. For some people can do a lot of this and very little of that, right?
Yeah, like me.
And or you might be flying with a hand like this, so you kind of have them both. Now, if you can, it's what you are used to. If what you're used to, you give it an input to the plane, the plane responds equally to what you are used to. Because someone else might grab your handle and gonna say, well, this doesn't have any up and it has too much down or whatever, but it's good for you, and you feel it that it's nice and even, whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
the other
have
thing
it good for you.
If your arm was stationary and it just sat there and you had up and down, that would work. But everybody follows the airplane. Some people do bigger, some people do smaller. And if you raise your arm up and down, it changes that how much actually you need in your hand.
Yeah, true. And that's if you hold your hand here and try to fly a loop, right?
Right. But as you're moving your arm, you may not be putting hardly any up in it.
Wherever the plane is, that's where your arm should be.
Right.
Your arm should
And you see people doing small ones, and you see some people doing really big stuff with their arms.
Yeah.
The guys that I fly with out in this area, and it's probably much the same where you're at. They fly with their hand right about in this position, right centered on their chest, and they make very little maneuvers, very little changes. That's Ted Fancher, Brett Buck, those guys. That's how they fly. And they, me, I've got my arm out here. Now don't use me as a guidance on it. I tend to fly with my arm out here, and I make those big maneuvers. I've got to train myself to go into the closer end and the smaller, because when you center it on your body, I'm beginning to realize you center it on your body like that. You've got everything centered where you're trying to put the center of your maneuver. And that helps you get the start right, get the beginning right, the entry right.
I think it has to do more like with the body mechanic. Now, if you can do this and that equally with the hands straight out, it's fine. But some, I have a lot of this and very little of that. You see that? So for me, if I fly with the hand stretched out, then I don't have up. I have a lot of down, right? So for me, I have to fly like this a little bit, because now I have up and I have down, right? So it's a body mechanics. Whatever works for you. I think someone happens as the other. For me, I would prefer to have the hand out, but I cannot.
If your hand is naturally bent, which most people's are, and you bring it in, it's on one angle. As you stretch your arm out, you're actually giving it down. This is down and this is up.
When you take off, do you give it up or do you just lift your hand? Because the plane comes around, I lift my hand up about 4 inches and then bring it right back where it was. The plane lifts off and you fly a quarter lap about yay high off the ground, and then you corkscrew it up. Everybody talks about my takeoffs. It's not hard. You just take it easy on your inputs and fly it.
Yeah, what I do on the takeoff is but I'm taking off grass, right? So I'm going full up elevator, and as soon as it starts to move, I'm getting back to neutral, right? And from the neutral, what I do is just have a little bit of pressure on the trigger finger or on pinky, just a little tiny bit, but mostly from pressure. Just like you pull the trigger on the gun, or you just pull the pinky,
Well, that's the way I'm learning to fly, just kind of like
very
that.
Little. It's just a little touch, and I let the plane fly straight out.
Yeah, my takeoffs are great, but I'm telling you what, I don't understand how some people do it because they sit there and you see them take off and they wah, and I'm saying, whoa, my plane would be vertical if I did that. I don't know.
Now, are your landings good too, Phil?
They are now. I finally learned to land. Tom Looper finally beat it into my head.
No,
I kept trying to land. I kept trying to do what?
Very little input on landing. You just see where the wind is, and that's the only thing you compensate for, really.
Yeah. Well, what I do is come around and just let it fly neutral, let it fly itself until it gets just 6 inches up, and then just put the least little bit of up in it. And if that nose is up when it touches down, it'll stick. It's backwards of what I've always thought. But you just Tom finally got it through my head. When you land the Cessna, do you land it flat? No, I have it in a stall. Okay. Well, you did mine the same way. So you just pull it back just a little, just pull it back slowly just a little bit. The plane will rotate and stall, and then when it quits flying, it lands.
Yep.
Same way you do a real airplane. I don't know why it took me 40 years to figure that out, but anyway, stunt wagon, you can't land like that. A stunt wagon, you gotta fly to the ground and
I'll tell you,
put it down.
You think you're letting the airplane fly to the ground, but you're not, because as an airplane slows down, you'll have to add up to it to keep the same descent pattern.
Yep. Yeah, you're. It's just slowing down.
On a real airplane, you're flying at a certain speed, and and it's coming in, and you can do it. But on our airplanes, as the airplane slows down, you got to change the angle of attack. Otherwise, that thing's going to nose in. It's going to flying.
Well, you're right. Everything but a stunt wagon.
You're really having to fly that all the way to the ground. You tell yourself,
really are.
"Oh, I just let it glide in." Yeah, bullshit. You're not. You're flying.
Well, you get so comfortable with it, you think you are, but you really are flying it.
Yeah,
but,
you have to. Otherwise, it nose in.
Yeah, I flew a stunt wagon for many years, and that's the hardest plane to land I've ever flown. But it doesn't land like anything else because a stunt wagon, you get one shot at landing, and if you blow it, boingy, 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 boingy. But
you'll find out that the people that really let the airplane just fly, flying on its own, are the ones that have terrible landings. And it's like right at the end. Because
I'm concentrating on it. But you're right. You're right, because if you don't, the plane will stall or it'll do something. You got to watch the wind and everything else and make sure it stays level. But John's got a nice looking handle.
So speaking about the landings in Florida, I got my first 40-pointer on takeoff or landing.
On both?
You did well.
On both takeoff and landing?
Same flight?
One was 40, the other one was 37 or something like that.
That's very good. Very good.
You did well.
All right, John.
Trent is coming on, guys. I'm telling you, he's getting a lot better.
This is remember we were talking, and I made mention that
like a fancer.
I paint. This is a fancher handle.
Yeah.
And that I paint all my handles to match my plane. This is for my All-American Eagle, the one that's done up as
Blue Angel.
Blue Angels. Okay. That way, I just look at the box and I can look. And then we also talked. Tran was showing us about using the Kevlar. This was original. This is one of my earlier handmade handles. This had to be for my Excalibur, and I changed it over to a hard point. But you see, I've got the bar there. It'd be easy for me to put it back. This is the one because this is actually much lighter, no more heavier than the fancher handle.
John, hang on a second, John. John, hang on. Stop for a second. Someone's got background noise going on and is interrupting John.
Okay, hang on. Might be me.
Yeah, right there you go. Thank you. No,
anyway, this is made up with half-inch thick poplar traced out to the side. You know, it was very simple to make. I've got about maybe a dozen of these for different airplanes that are painted up.
Yeah.
And so anyway, this is what I'm thinking about taking over to the Kevlar, like Tran was talking about.
Yeah, I've got
Just
one
want
like
to
that.
show
On
the
the Kevlar.
Did you buy
That's
the
neat.
Kevlar?
I haven't bought the Kevlar yet. No.
I've got it ordered. I just don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Is there a way to send, if someone sends you something
Thank you,
in
John.
Word, to take it and put it into something else so you can see it if you don't have Word on your computer?
Oh,
Say that one
There-
more time, Steve.
If someone sends you,
Steve, go online and download and install OpenOffice. It's called OpenOffice. It'll open any Word document that anybody sends you. And then if you want to turn around and save it out, you can save it out as a PDF straight from. But you're gonna have to get OpenOffice to do it.
oh, okay.
That's a free download.
Yep. It'll open any Microsoft document. You can view it directly, and if you decide you want to save it as something else, it's got an option to save to PDF.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, because it'll let me read it, but it won't let me print it out so I can sign it and stuff.
Yeah, OpenOffice actually is a great program. It basically will let you open and manipulate any Microsoft Office document.
Okay, great. Thanks. I appreciate that.
You guys
I never thought
follow.
toy airplanes would get me into flying. Work playing with darn computers. Ugh.
Denny, I'm getting closer to getting the Vanguard done.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I expect to have. I hope to have it built for next season. So.
Wow, that's a lot of airplane for getting done for next season. Unless your winters are a lot longer than mine.
Well, they are. I should have been building a month ago. You know.
Yeah. I'm trying to finish up a humbug. Then I got to finish the humbler. And then maybe I'll finally get around to painting the ombre this spring. I seem to be stuck on H airplanes for some reason. I don't know what happened there.
How are you going to paint them? What kind of paint scheme are you going to have?
The paint scheme's already drawn up. When Tommy drew the airplane up, he drew a paint scheme. It's red, white, and black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the original paint scheme. The Larry Drone built the first one. He finished his first, and he painted the original colors. Tommy's is all silver. I can't see all silver. I have a Vega downstairs. It's really an SV11, but it's done as a Vega, and we called it the Vega. It's all silver. And the only thing on that darn airplane I can see when I'm flying at this time of year is I got a shell emblem between the flap and the elevator. That yellow and white shell emblem is all I can see. The rest of it disappears. The trees are gray, the sky's gray, the darn airplane just disappears. I flew it the other day, and everybody asked, why'd you just go around in circles? Because I can't see it. I'm getting old. I just can't see the darn thing.
Oh, I see.
So I put that thing down, and Pete says, "Yeah, you just can't see today. Your eyes must be bothering you." So I got my little red, white, and blue airplane out and put up a pattern. I didn't have any problem at all with it, but that gray was just gone. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So
you know that's why more of my airplanes are getting painted yellow.
Yeah, that's easy to see.
And not green.
Hey, my plane tend to be black nowadays.
Is black easy to see?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of paint jobs, I got. Do you guys watch Formula One?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mercedes in particular team. Well,
yeah, the silver bullets.
Yeah, I want to have my next plane copying pretty much the paint job that they had on Mercedes cars. So
you realize that thing is almost like looking at chrome if you see it in person. It's really bright, but that'll disappear something awful. You can see it.
Yeah, but I don't want to have just the stars gonna be like chrome color. and I think I'm just gonna have the logos and some. But what I want to do on it, I want to have some accents, like on the tail, on the bottom. I'm gonna put that bright red accent
Oh yeah, okay.
on them.
Okay.
On the top of the tail, a little bit of accent over there. The horizontal is gonna be all that aquamarine color with the
Oh
Petronas
yeah, okay.
logo on it, going
Yeah.
across of it. The nose is gonna have the teal green with the black and stuff like that, with
Yeah.
the
That'd be
Petronas
pretty.
logo on the nose and Mercedes logo on the top of the nose, stuff like that.
That'd be a pretty plane.
Stuff. I think that's gonna look pretty cool.
I know what he's doing, guys. He's going to take it out there, and when they give him a low score on a maneuver, he's going to, all right, why did you score this so low? How do you know? You couldn't see it. Let's be serious with him. So anyway, oh Lord, I got to find something crazy.
I got a question when I can get it in. So
go ahead.
Okay. You know, I haven't talked much about my biplane. The 2 bits bipe. And the reason is because I still hadn't figured out what the problem was on the last corner of a square 8 or a square, the bottom, the coffin corner. The plane would stall, wave its wings at me. That I finally come to a conclusion because I got 800 square inches with the 2 wings, 400 square inches on each one. And so I don't think it's running out of lift. I think it's running out of power. I don't think the IC engine is giving me the kind of power I would get off of an electric motor. And so I'm thinking about converting that to electric.
Just give them more offset to them. They can buy slop.
John?
Yeah.
John, my SE5 does the same thing. And what I ended up doing to combat that, I took a lot of the rudder out of it. I mean, I took a lot of the rudder out of it. It's almost straight back. And I moved the lines forward a little bit, just played with them a little bit at a time. And I finally got to where it'll do that maneuver and just groove. Now it's a little light overhead now. You gain a little bit at 45 degrees, you lose a little bit up top. But it's a give and take.
Well, I don't have any rudder in it. I just got the vertical stab airfoil a little bit. So that's all I've got there. So and I've hung it by the lead outs, and I've just got just a slight nose down.
Hang on.
So
I ended up getting mine
so
where it hangs level.
Yours hangs level.
I thought there's no way in the world it's going to stay out there on the lines, but it does.
Well, I still want to make it electric because I think I'd have a far better quality of run. You know, because like when you start doing a square maneuver and you got a big airplane like that, it bleeds off speed real fast because
the biplane especially.
Yeah, the engine cannot pick up the horsepower fast enough before you get to the next corner. So you get a loss as you're going around. If you got to do two, you're slowing down and slowing down and slowing down. And with the electric, you get almost instantaneous power back on after you make that corner.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm thinking anyway. So
Danny,
now the question.
Go ahead.
The question is, I need some suggestions on the engine size, and that'll let me know about what I need for batteries. So I'm thinking a 35 something because I think the bigger diameter would give me more torque. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I've been using 28s. That's what I've been going with. So I don't know what's a big 35 millimeter size. Would it be a 35 25, 35 35, 35 30? You know.
What size?
What's
what size prop do you use for diameter?
Oops. You might.
What diameter prop do you use on the blow in?
13. 13.
Okay. Use a 3520 motor, 6 center. Basically, a generic setup that people are putting in their feedback and everything sounds. 6S, 2500. Those have been people have been buying later. Heavy and that's not something not requiring that's a weight issue for the airplane too. So,
Dennis, I know you're giving me some good advice, but I can't quite understand you. I'm sorry.
I understand
okay.
Yeah. I think the 35s Cobras are very weak for what they give you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't buy the Cobra. I'd buy the Badass if I was going to get one. If I was going to buy one of those motors, I'd get the Badass. I just got it proved to me it is a stronger motor than the comparable Cobra. I don't know why. I haven't had a chance to look at it and find out whether windings are better or what, but the same size is stronger in the Badass.
Yeah. I'm looking at look for example, I'm looking at Cobra 3520/18. This is a 550 kV motor that is 43 millimeter in diameter, 46 millimeter long. Has the same weight as my motor, right? At 216 grams, right? And at 6S, it's rated at 800 watts. Where my motor for the same weight, it's rated at 1,150.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So I'm looking at the difference between them. I don't think Cobras are just that optimized as a motor.
Well,
Mine cost less than this too.
I'm not interested in a Cobra. I've been running. What I've got is Aerowinds that I got from Bodak. And I understand Aerowind are no longer being made. So
right. Well, the big Aerowind motor, the 3526 would be. I'm not even sure they still have any on hand, but that's actually larger than the motor that most of the folks are running.
3525.
But it is at the end of its rope. The Cobras and the Badass motors are interchangeable in the same ball pattern and stuff like that. More flexibility and things like KV ratings and things like that. Pretty hard to argue that any of that.
Oh, by the way, I'm looking at the Cobra chart right now at 3525/14. This is the equivalent of what motor I'm running right now. But I'm looking at this motor, same frame that's as my motor. It weighs 253 grams, and it's 1,000 watts, right? Mine is 216. That's 1,150.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I think Jokers do a better job on optimizing their motors. Again, Badass seems to be a better option too because they're better optimized for what we need.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've always had a hard time reading my ratings because you never really know how they were determined. It would be like picking our IC engines based on horsepower curves, and of course we never do that.
How much? What does your motor weigh? Trying
210 grams, somewhere over there.
Yeah, and outlier motor, the function of the weight is iron and copper. And there's not a lot of different, it's not like you can, retrain it or put ABC in it or something like that. It's just iron and copper.
I have a hard time understanding you there.
Two identical sized motors would have vastly different ratings. The less possibly there's a stronger, coil, I guess it'd be a larger diameter wire in the coil that lets it carry a higher current rating. Can you see the current rating on it? Is that possibly the difference in wattage?
No, I don't see any of that. Now, speaking of the Badass motors, they seem to be a much better option. A whole lot better option.
Yeah, because the 3520 650 kV is 1,400 watts.
No, it's 1,200.
No, I'm looking at it right now. It's 1420.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at different lines.
Which KV, Steve?
The baddest 35, 25, 60 kV specs, right? So on 6S is 1200 watts, okay, 228 grams, 43 millimeter diameter, 46 millimeter long. This is pretty much the equivalent of what I have. Almost
You're running 560 kV?
510.
Or 510?
Yeah.
Well, that helps me. That helps me because I was considering that I was going to go to the Badass because I've heard a lot of good reports about it, and you know, and I wasn't sure. I mean, like I say, I've been 28. I think I'm 28, 26 is what I've got to go to, or 28, 30 is what I've got to go in the Vanguard, and so I'm just. You know, I'm new at electric, and so but I'm pretty sure that the electric would be a lot better for the biplane because of all the drag and the slowing down and the motor, the engine not having time enough to get its horsepower back after making that turn. You know, that the electric will work better for what I want with that draggy airplane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely use the Badass because they seem to be much better. It's much lighter, much more powerful. They're just a better motor, and it seems like the Cobras from Cobras to Badass, you're talking like $10 maximum or $8 difference between them. For $8,
What motor did you? Which Badass did you say was comparable to what you're running, Trey?
Huh?
Which Badass did you say is comparable to the Joker?
I say that 3520, so 560. Yeah.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm still gonna order my Jokers, but
yeah.
Oh,
it still seems like the Jokers are a little bit better.
Well,
hey, Denny,
cheaper for sure. A lot less money.
Yes, too. That too.
Denny, my friend, I'm going to get you something for Christmas.
Wow!
If you don't buy my microphone, I'm going to.
I'm going to get you a Logic camera and microphone to plug into your unit there so that you can be heard.
You got too much knowledge not for us to be able to hear it.
I told him today at Best Buy you can get one for $10. That's what mine cost.
Yeah, well, hey, Danny, do you own an iPhone? They usually come with the headphones.
No,
I don't wear out my guess about it. And I appreciate him coming in, so don't wear him out. Don't give him too hard of a time.
We want him to come in. We want to be able to understand him.
We want to be able to be heard.
Well, the one thing is, guys, I wore him out today.
Did you?
We talked on the phone for about 3 hours, so he's got to be about talked out.
Oh,
run his batteries down, did you?
I did.
Okay, guys, I have a request from you, or if anybody knows, I'm trying to get a hold of Richard Oliver, and I need his phone number. Or if you don't feel comfortable about putting it out there, I can give you my phone number.
Hey, try it. Give me a call and I'll give it to you.
Okay. Or send me a PM.
Yeah, you know that can be hard. I'm still trying to pull up shit on Word.
Never mind. What a dinosaur. Dinosaur.
You're asking shit way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
But you know, this is going to cost enough that you could buy a new Badass. You know.
Oh, Dennis, look up Dragon Plate, and that'll give you the specs on that.
Okay.
It's Dragon Plate. That's not where I'd buy it from, but that gives you all the. But the crush ability on that compression strength is 1,870 psi, and the compression modulus is 590.
Modulus.
Huh?
Modulus.
Compression modulus.
Compression modulus is 590,000 psi. That sounds like a lot, I guess, but and 400 pounds of shear strength and tensile strength is 1,900 psi. So it sounds.
What the heck are you going to use that stuff for? That's what they make floors and airplanes out of.
Steve, never mind. Mike Lanke gave it to me.
I want to use it for to mount your electric motors to, for a firewall.
Yeah. I get the stuff off of eBay. I used 1/8 inch. I wanted 5/16, but I got 1/8 inch.
Oh, they sell that on eBay?
Yes, sir. $27 for a sheet about so big for the 3/16. Now it's in metric. You'll have to convert it. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use metric conversions because I'll mess it up. I didn't learn metric, and I still haven't converted to it. So
yeah,
I have to figure it out every time.
Print has it down in an eighth, like an 1/8 inch. It's in metric, but it's about an 1/8 inch they go down to and go up in there.
Len's still here. If he's awake, he could probably make that conversion from inches
3
to
millimeters is 1/8 inch.
1/8 inch is about 3 millimeter.
Yep, and they actually even sell it in 2.5 millimeter.
Yeah, I'd go with it. I'd go with a 3 millimeter. I bought some 1.5, and it looks literally like circuit board material. It was some really thin 1.5. It was not really 1/16 inch, which is what it should have been, but it wasn't quite that. I'd go with a 3 millimeter and get the 1/8 inch if you're going to use it for motor bear. I wouldn't go anything smaller than that.
Guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you on Friday.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Take care of yourself, sir.
I'm going to be
Try to stay out of trouble.
down pretty soon. It's almost 9 o'clock out here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get off here, too.
As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and thank everybody for showing up. Thank you. I appreciate. And Mike Lumen, I really appreciate you hanging on in Nigeria. You started at 4 in the morning, and I imagine it's about 6 in the morning now there in Nigeria.
Right at 6.
He's a tough cat.
And are you interested in electrics, Mark, or not?
Back and forth. I want to say something. Appreciate Dennis. He'd sent me some info about a month ago. I started building that Magician. I thought I was maybe going to make that electric, but I appreciate the info, Dennis, and that'll be on my next build probably. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I just wanted to know, but I'm really more into IC, and I'm numbered. I have the only other IC guy there, I think, is Ed. I mean, that's full-time IC. I mean, I know that John Miller does both IC and electric, and Tom, you do mostly electric, right, Tom?
No, I do both.
You do both? Okay. And so, anyways, this show is really almost entirely electric, and which is okay. I'm outnumbered, but anyways, I want to thank everybody for showing up, and we had about 4 or 5 people on the chat box, and at one point in time we had concurrent viewers was about 16 at one time. That was around 720, and then it started tailing off. Maybe the conversations, I don't know, but anyways, I really appreciate you guys coming in, and hey, we talked about electric, and then we talked about Cheyenne's flying video. We did a little bit of talking about the pattern, which I got really excited about that portion. I would love for us to do more talking about the stunt patterns. I think there's so many wrinkles to talk about in the stunt pattern. It's really engaging for me. So hopefully we can do that. And also we didn't have any show and tells today. So hopefully we'll have that Friday. And
I did too. I showed you.
Right.
Yes,
I showed you.
Right. Like, got to give you props for the hybrid. And something else. Oh, you know
John
what?
showed his snatcher handle.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. It really helps the video. It really helps our YouTube channel. And don't forget our membership. Our memberships are start at $4.99 a month. That's like 17 cents a day, and that helps set off some of the expenses of this platform. And one clarification I want to make. Last time I talked about you get special badges, and I got a little pushback on that. Now, the special badges I'm talking about are the special badges that are on the chat box, not the special badges on Stunthangar. So the special badges you'll get is when you're in the chat box, you can tell the guys that are members their badges are different than the guys who are non-members. So I just want to clarify that. But anyways,
mine a general.
You're hardly ever on the chat. I don't know what your badge looks like, Steve. I think I've never seen you on the chat. You always come
It looks
in.
like a little glass jar full of money.
I don't know.
I think I'm a commander, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Steve should be the terrorist.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm going to end the stream, and there, as Rusty used to say, go out there, have some fun, and come back and share with us on Friday. All right. I'll see you guys on the end.